Timestamp, it is July 8th, 2026, about 9:30 p.m. I'm tired. I got up early. So we were going to try and take care of the car situation because it started bleeding orange water again. Did get it to mechanic, and it's either a cracked head or a cracked block, I guess. I'm not a car guy. But either way, we're looking at between probably $2,000 and $5,000. So, first of all, that's painful because I don't have it. I do not have it. So, Hicks is keeping like 3 gallons of water in the car pretty much. Actually, more like 4 or 5 gallons. We're going to try and nurse it and get her here as quickly as possible. I'm not even sure what the coffee is. Alex made it. Making some hard-boiled eggs right now. That used to be ice water. It's good to the water's very cold. Basically super cold, super cool, freeze, whatever, the eggs right after you boil them, because it makes the shell easier to come off. I didn't know that. My girl taught me that one. So, that water's very cold. It's almost like there was ice in it a minute ago. So, yeah, we gotta get Hicks here quickly. At that point, we can actually scuttle George. And because we've already got 2 interested buyers in the house. Basically, we've got neighbors on either side that are attempting to expand their kingdom. And they're serious. They've brought the subject up to us. It wasn't a, hey, we're going to be selling our house, you interested? It was a, hey, we understand what's going on with your parents and everything. When you get ready to sell this, come to us first. I've got 2 people saying come to us first, which this is a blessing. Just because I'm hoping they don't try and insanely lowball me. But it means that I have 2 potential buyers, which means competition. So, the bright side is we can actually close it. Because I think we kind of make the contract. There's a good chance that we can say, hey, you're offering me this much for it, you're the winner. Because I'm going to kind of do a blind bid. Just hypothetical numbers. If one of them offers me $200,000, one of them offers me $150,000. I may go to the 150s and say, is that your highest? Because the other person is very much outbidding you. And if they say, yeah, it's really the most I'm willing to do. Okay. You know what I mean? Give them a sporting chance at, and if they say, I can do 250, okay, well that changes things a bit. Then I can go to the other one and go, is 200 as high as you're going? Makes sense. I'm all about competition, man. It's good for you. Yeah, I can hear my throat's still weird. I'm really hoping it's not anything serious. But yeah, I mean, in the closing contract, it's not too uncommon to say, 30 days, take possession kind of thing. So if we have a bucket of cash in 30 days, that enables us to rent a U-Haul and throw everything in it and get it here. It's kind of what we're thinking. It would be a little bit of liberation. It's weird. I'm coming up on basically selling my house. Been there for 28 years. Essentially paying off a 30-year mortgage in 28 years. Not an amazing accomplishment, but not bad, It's okay. I don't know what. I'm not sure what I'm drinking. It's coffee. Or caffee. Is it amazing? No. There's only so much my Marvin on a roller coaster mug can do. But yeah, the mechanic looked at it. They did some kind of a dye test where they put dye in the water and see what happens, and they're like, it's one of these two things, both of which are ugly. So yeah. I am attempting to hard quit smoking, so that should make me a delight. But between my throat being irritated, money, all that kind of stuff, it's like, okay, I'm just gonna try not to kill anyone. We'll see what happens. Health check. It's been a stressful day, but I feel okay. Haven't actually, and this is not a request, haven't really had a lot in the way of panic attacks. Which, again, not a request. I'm good. Thanks. We have a plan that looks kind of like a flow chart. Not actually drafted out, but just we talked it out. Because when we got back from the mechanic, we sat and talked for a couple hours. She spent a few times asking me what I was going to do, and it's like I don't have enough information yet. Because I don't know which one it is as far as what's wrong with the car. There's a possibility that I can ask the lawyer and say, hey, as my dad's guardian, I have to have transportation. Our car needs to be repaired. Am I able to use estate funds to do that? I have a feeling they're going to say, well, yeah, you have to, pretty much. But I don't know if that's going to be a 3-month request to the court. Because bear in mind, when I became my dad's guardian, this is an emergency guardianship hearing. We got the judgment at about the 4-month period, and I actually got, because the judge says, yes, I find in favor of, we're doing this, this, and this. I didn't actually get the paperwork for like another 2 months, where the judge's signature. So there was a lot of stuff that I was having to do where it's like, this is what the judge said. And people are like, you need to show me the court document. And I'm saying, I can show you the pending judgment, but I can't show you the final because I don't have it yet. And there were some places that were like, yeah, we're not doing anything. Get back to us when you have the final. And there were some places that were like, okay, let me look at the actual court records that you have, and we can probably work from there. but that injunction or whatever, that had the word emergency in it, and it took 6 months start to finish. Now, as an English major, the idea of an emergency taking 6 months to resolve, yeah, I think Lady Justice could walk faster if she took the blindfold off. I'm not sure. Maybe that's what it is. At least there weren't mousetraps on the floor, I guess. I've done that game. That hurts. And we had somebody try and bring in rat traps. Don't do that. That's not cool. There's a big difference in the amount of jaw pressure between a mousetrap and a rat trap, so that you know. But for that particular improv game, it's already painful enough. Just use mousetraps. Rat traps, you're looking at actual broken toes and maybe even severed toes. Don't do that. It's like the Rob Zombie version of the game. Don't do that. Thrills and chills. And that's the kind of thing Penn and Teller would do, but there'd be a trick to it. It's going to be tricky, but it's going to be all in the timing. I think we can do it. Today was a day. Yeah, we were really hoping it was just like a hose, or because they replaced the reservoir, which is like a plastic tank that kind of attaches off to the side of the radiator, and that's where the water kind of filters to different places to cool the engine. It has hoses and stuff attached to it, and we were really hoping that it was just like a hose that ruptured or came off or something like that. Everything there was fine. Okay. Yeah, I jokingly mentioned to Pix, oh, by the way, Mercury's in retrograde. And she's like, that you really? I'm like, yeah, actually. She gets very Marge. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Homer. Yeah. So. Yeah, I'm not sure what I'm drinking. So now I feel even more guilty about having a nope day yesterday. And I mentioned that to Pix, and she's like, no, I've taken mental health days. You're allowed to have no. She's like, no, nobody knew that today was going to happen this way. And I'm like, yeah, I know, but still. She's like, you don't do that often. It's okay. I have been forgiven. I gotta maneuver the garage so that I can maneuver the master bedroom, so that I can maneuver the living room, which in turn also helps me maneuver the master bedroom. This slide puzzle sucks. Oh, man. I know how I can make it work, but this whole thing is just such a slog. But a lot of the stuff that I did earlier has set us up to where we can do that. So that's good. Sent out a couple of eBay sales today. Had a Scooby-Doo figure lot and a pair of Monster High pets. A Count Fabulous and a Watsy, if you're into that sort of thing. Had somebody buy 2 of those. And I have another thing that I've got to get out Friday. It's here somewhere, I think. I'm going to double check with Pix and see if she's got it there, because I honestly don't even know anymore. It's a American Defense bazooka. American Defense was a 3 3/4 G.I. Joe knockoff that was marketed by Circus World, KB Toys. I think Kmart might have had them too. But it's a really ridiculously bad 3 3/4 G.I. Joe knockoff. But they're highly collectible now because that kind of stuff is. It's from the early 80s. And it's just a solid dark green, olive green bazooka. You know, a pew-pew for one of the figures. I've got a bunch of the different... It's one of the reasons I got them, because they do, the figure-wise, they don't look all that amazing. But they came with really great, like, stuff. Shovels and all kinds of other... Some of the different, like, little play sets and whatnot. You could get a lot of props and accessories for the figures, which was pretty cool. I mean, G.I. Joe did have the accessory packs, but this had some kind of more unusual stuff. Lanterns and like almost camping gear kind of stuff, which I was like, hey, that's pretty cool. You know, back in the day, it was like $1.97, $1.95 for a figure with a whole bunch of like little props and stuff. So I did buy a few. I'm an original owner, but now I'm selling off a lot of stuff, and I've got a bunch of the different stuff on eBay. American Defense. Was it by Remco? Might have been by Remco. REMCO. They did Karate Kid action figures, and I think they did some Rambo figures too, back in the day. This is like early 80s stuff, because I am that dork. But yeah, somebody bought one of the bazookas for like $3. I've got several different pew-pews up for like $3 each. And I already sold... It was some other kind of long rifle. I sold one of those like 6 months ago. One of the American Defense ones. It was like a sniper rifle or something like that. I forget. But I've got a few more different ones up right now. M60, M16, that kind of stuff. There are watchers on them, and they get views, and it's a thing. It would blow my dad's mind, because he was not understanding how somebody paid for a little piece of plastic. It's like, I don't understand why you'd pay $500 for that steering wheel. It's a steering wheel. Who the hell cares? Oh, this is a Cobra. Okay, cool. This is G.I. Joe. Nah. Okay. See, I do actually understand the $500 steering wheel. I do. I get it. But I understand and embrace the idea of collecting and or all of it. He just couldn't get into the idea of, I wouldn't pay you $1 for that. That's stupid. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle figure. That's not worth anything. Okay. Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I think Acorn is chasing a bunny or something. in his sleep. That is a three-legged cat. That's Janus. They're kind of buddies. Hey, Corny. You're okay. You're okay. You okay? Yeah? Yeah. Hi, Janus. Hey, buddy. You're okay. Easy, pal. I thought maybe you were having a nightmare. Yes, I have watched Young Frankenstein a few times. You're okay, bud. You're okay. Yeah. I've seen him do, the little, with a little bit of like the whimper or bark, but that was actually, you were doing that for the balcony, man. As an actor, I can appreciate that. You okay? Yeah, okay. So yeah, from a time-stamping standpoint, Graham Plattner has dropped his Senate bid. Guy's got a troubled past. He's got a troubled past. He's an old soldier. You're going to get some baggage with that no matter what. Some of the allegations that have come out. I know one of the allegations that came out was apparently there was a woman that was with the Heritage Foundation. That's kind of stinky, considering how right-wing an organization that is. That smells like exactly what I'm getting at. But, much like Kavanaugh, who is now on the Supreme Court, double standard much? It's just the hypocrisy thing kind of blows my mind. Because we actually, the Democratic Party, I say we, I loosely identify with them. I'm progressive, so I'm a bigger fan of like Bernie and AOC. Democrats tend to actually accept responsibility and even in some cases be somewhat noble. And we've got a 34 felony fraud indicted criminal in the White House currently. It's just shameless. It truly is shameless. It's just I don't quite get that. Mitch McConnell is about to appear in a Weekend at Bernie's reboot, I guess. No one's seen him, but everybody has talked to him on the phone for 20 minutes. Yeah, okay. Rumor leaking out that he's brain dead. Other people stating that he's been that way for a long time. He wasn't brain dead before this. He very calculated and did a lot of long-term damage to the judicial system. making up his own rules that he then doesn't follow himself, because when it doesn't benefit him, those rules don't matter. A lot of dirty dealing. See Ruth Bader Ginsburg and Amy Coney Barrett. Dirty dealing. And I'm not speaking ill of the dead, because supposedly he's not dead yet. But I think he's a very bad man who has done some damage to our country politically. So I'm not going to celebrate his death, but I would love him removed from politics 10 years ago. But can't undo that. There are no take-backsies. Provided we have a more progressive future as a country, and I'm optimistic that we will, he's not going to be a hero in the history books. He's not. There's quite a few of them out there that aren't going to be described as heroic. You know, just like Joe McCarthy, not typically looked on heroically. But he was anti-communist. Yeah. But then there's how he did what he did, you know. Google it, look it up. It's not Andrew McCarthy. He's pretty decent. And guilty pleasure, I love Mannequin. I love Mannequin. It's just brainless fun. And a very interesting early part by James Spader. Sadly, Hollywood is no longer with us. Died young. And that was like the main, only-ish thing that he did. But damn, he was funny in that. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. Stole every scene he was in. Yeah, I'm not sure what I'm drinking. I'm a little sad about what's in my mug currently. I'm sorry, Marvin. Yeah, Mannequin. Check it out. It's stupid 80s. Yeah. 80s? Come out in the early 90s. I don't know. Not a film to be taken seriously, but a lot of fun. Goofy rom-com of sorts. Yeah. Andrew McCarthy's okay. Joe? The guy who's currently in the hospital? Not a great person. I know the last few times that I saw him in front of the camera, I could pretty much see the hourglass spinning. Because there was definitely some cognitive issues there. Once you've dealt with a loved one going through that sort of thing, and I've pretty much dealt with two, you recognize it in other older ones out there. There are some that are still sharp as a tack. Bernie, dear God in heaven, I would still vote for him, even though he's like 83 or whatever. As long as you can stay where you are for the next 4 years, you're great. Some of these guys, though, I hear them speak, I watch them move and whatnot, it's like, yep, it started. And bear in mind, I'm well aware that Biden, yeah, the debate, yeah, it broke my heart. But I saw that stare and the "we defeated Medicare" thing. Yep, you're having cognitive issues. But so's your opponent. He just hides it better because he's so loud. Kamala's not having cognitive issues. She would have been an okay choice. Great choice? Nah. Good choice? Yeah, better than, you know. And apparently Fox News is actually calling out some corruption things they're noticing. I don't know that it'll last, but it's interesting that even they're having to admit that, oh yeah, there's some dirty deals going on. Okay, cool. Thanks for noticing that. I mean, you've known the whole time, but, thanks for saying it. You know, some of the BS you guys have been saying for the past, 10 years has actually helped us get to this cataclysmic place. So, thanks for that. The next guy or gal's got so much work to do. It's not going to be enough just to fix things. They've actually got to go the next step and actually, you got to undo and then make it so that we can't get broken again. We need a Teddy and an FDR all in one. We need the Voltron equivalent of Roosevelt. Because Teddy was all about breaking up the corruption and FDR was all about the social programs. I mean, they did more than just that, but bold header. What they're kind of known for, really. A lot of their accomplishments. We need somebody that can do both in 4 or 8 years. That's a big mop. That's a big mop you've got to be able to swing. I remain optimistic, but damn. Bright side, according to the Supreme Court, you can, break the law to get stuff done. So that should make it a little bit easier to clean up. If it's within the scope of their job. Careful what rules you set up. My thought, anyway. You said they have immunity. Okay. Cool. I think if we do get, especially if we get somebody that's a little bit more progressive, not, corporate Democrat, I think they should push that a little bit. You said that I'm allowed to do whatever I want, pretty much. I have immunity to get the job done, so. Just saying. I'm got some chicken to marinade, doing some meal prep stuff. I'm gonna get some sleep. When I get up tomorrow, I'm going to be not smoking. No big deal. And I gotta get major stuff done here with my slide puzzle so that she can work her slide puzzle. July is going to be nuts. Exactly. Yep. Yeah, and Laura at the mechanic was like, well, what about your dad's vehicles? And I'm like, they're both Haven't been started in 2 years, and all 8 tires are flat. No idea what's wrong with either one of them. Because when my dad had his license taken away, he just stopped caring. Didn't even go out and start them. Just like, take my license away. So we've got 2 giant paperweights on the driveway. She's like, great. I'm like, yeah, and honestly, I'd have to deal with the tags and registrations and all that kind of stuff too, because it's all in my dad's name. So I'd still have to get the court involved to basically change out ownership or re-register it. I can't register it through him because his license was taken away. And the court would have to give me blessing to actually do stuff to it. And she's like, that'll take time. I'm like, yeah, I know. So, I mean, between me and you, they're pretty much paperweights on the driveway until my dad passes. And then, at that point, I inherit them because I get everything. The entire swamp is mine. And I can try and continue. What am I, Farquhar? I can try and renovate the swamp here. I'm not bored. Am I overwhelmed? At times. But I'm not bored. Yeah, there's no moment that I'm like, God, I don't have anything to do. Doesn't happen. Are there times that I sit at the bar and go, I don't want to do any of this shit? Yes. Yes, those times happen. So, but yeah, I'm going to finish. I got to put the eggs away. Marinade. I'm going to put veg in with the teriyaki chicken that I have going on right now. It's going to be very exciting stuff. Yeah. Then I'm going to get some sleep. And get up. Smoke free. Pray for me. I warned both my kids, if I try and kill you tomorrow, it's nothing personal. Just throw nicotine patches at me and back away slowly. I tried the patch a long time ago, and my heart started doing a weird palpy thing. It was like when I tried a Red Bull. So it's kind of like, nope, not doing this ever again. I mean, Jackrabbit. It's like, poop. That cannot be good for me. Not like smoking is, but you start feeling massive palpitation 30 seconds after putting a patch on. Something might be going horribly wrong. So anyway, hug your parents. Don't let them do this to you. Beg, please, to your godparents, don't do this to your kids. Hug your kids. Make it so. Do your 1 brick. I actually did my 1 brick today so far. I'm very pleased. Make it a great day.